What's up, everyone? This is kind of hard to believe, but this is in lieu of your final exam. For those of you guys that don't know what in lieu means, it means in place of. Right, we're not at school. We were not going to give you guys a written final exam, but we thought what better way to gauge your learning this school year, but to have you can do your own controlled experiment here at home. I'm just going to quickly run you through what to expect here. Throughout the year, we've investigated ecosystems, populations, human and animal impact, our energy use, climate change, biodiversity. And one of the key things that kept coming up over and over again was photosynthesis and how photosynthesis plays a major role in the plant's ability to become a carbon sink. So we're really going to just put all of these concepts together, right? Photosynthesis, climate change, carbon sink, and now our plant study. But we need to really understand why plants are carbon sink, and then what conditions do they grow best in. If this is a carbon sink, we want to be able to grow them and lots of them and grow them really, really well and effectively. So here's where the kind of fun part comes in. You're going to have a choice in your investigation. Your choices are located right here. So you can preview each experiment by clicking on the hyperlink activity number. There you're going to find the question that you're trying to answer, the hypothesis. You're going to kind of fill in the blanks with that if-then statement, and a procedure. Once you decide on your choice, you need to click on this Google form. It will look like this. So that way I can help you follow along with what you've done. Okay. So let's get to it. We've got three options. What effect does the amount of light have on the height of your plant? What effect does the amount of water have on the height of your plant? What effect does crowding, meaning how many seeds are together in that cup? And so you're going to choose which one you want. Maybe you're still kind of deciding, you don't know. So you're going to click on it. When you click on each link, it brings you to a separate document that has, again, your question, your hypothesis, and then the procedure. So after reading through the procedure, complete your hypothesis and copy and paste this part into the correct spot in the activity. So I would just Control C, bring it back over to my document where right here, hypothesis, I would Control V, put it right there. And obviously I need to fill it in. Okay, so if I place my plant in an area with full sunlight, right? I have to actually read the experiment. So I'll say full sunlight exposure, full sun exposure. Then the height of the plant will increase. Okay, let's go back over though and read more about this. So procedure, take 3 plastic cups and poke a drainage hole in the bottom of each cup. Beware that when you pour, and please be careful with scissors, by the way, on that part. Beware that when you pour water into the cup, it will drain out the bottom. So you're going to want to put that cup inside like a bigger container, not another cup because it's going to seal it into the bottom, but maybe like a piece of another Tupperware bin or something like that. You're going to fill each plastic cup about 3/4 of the way full with potting soil. Take 3 or 4 seeds, sprinkle them around the top of the soil. Each cup wants to get the same amount of seeds, the same amount of soil. We're trying our best to keep things constant. Remember those words: independent variable, dependent variable, constant, and control. Okay. Then you're going to put a thin layer of soil over those seeds. That thin layer should be no thicker than 1/4 of an inch so they can sprout quickly and start really growing. Water each plant with 1/4 cup of water. Soil should be moist. So if you use little cups, you might need to use less water. If you use a big cup, you might need to use more water. So this is really important. You don't want to overwater your seeds; they get moldy and disgusting. But you want to note the amount of water that you use so that going forward you can use the same amount. And you're going to indicate that on your data table. Let me just show you the data table. So every data table has a spot. Oops. I'll get down there in a second. Go back up. Right here, amount of water used, and you're going to fill that in. Okay, going back up. Place the cups in different amounts of sunlight. So place one of the cups in full direct sunlight, example, a windowsill. that gets sun all day long, or as long as you possibly can. Place another in a location that gets some sun, but not direct full sun. This is called partial sunlight. Example, a bookshelf that gets some sun indirectly from like the kitchen window. Okay, so it's just not like right, not directly next to it, but maybe I put it over there on my dresser. Okay. Place another cup in the location that gets none. So like a shut drawer or a cabinet that gets no sunlight, you're not going to open up unless you're measuring it. So over the span of 2 weeks, track the growth of the seeds and provide water when necessary. The same amount to each cup, and make sure it's the same amount. Make sure that you take notes on the growth and any observations that seem important. So note, the science table should allow for a small number of notes to be taken each day during the growing process. Notes such as how much water was provided, sprouts that begin to grow, leaf formation, and the height of the plants. So you must record the height of the tallest plant in the cup each day. Now, I know some of you guys don't have rulers at home, even though, by the way, back in September when we had the supplies list, I told you to get a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, you have a ruler right here in the materials list. So it says ruler to measure height of plant, print one here. If you go here and you print that out and then you cut it, you will now have a ruler. So that's pretty nifty. Going down into the data collection. So every data table is specified for each experiment. So I'm going to take this data table, go all the way down to the bottom. Come on. Oh, it's not letting. Oh, no, maybe I am. Okay, I'm going to copy. I'm going to bring it over here to where it says results observation. So record the height of the tallest plant each day, copy and paste the data table, and show an X to show no growth. So I'm going to put it right here, Control V, put my data table that's specific to my experiment. And that's why I couldn't put it here, because the one with the sunlight is different than the one with the water and the one with the crowding. We'll get there in a minute. So day one, this is going to be the first day after you set this up, right? We're on day 0. You're obviously going to have no growth. They're all going to be the exact same at this point. So notes, maybe I'm going to say it's sunlight for approximately 8 hours, hours a day. Height of the tallest plant in the cup. I don't have, none of them germinated yet, right? That'd be insane if they had. So I don't have anything to note there. The partial sun exposure gets sunlight for maybe like 4 hours. What? And I don't want you making this up. You're looking at your actual notes. And no sun exposure, no change. Okay. So every day you're going to write like a little note about it. Like maybe day 2, you say it's cloudy, there is rain in the morning, sunny in afternoon. Whatever it is, you need to make sure you specify for that day. Going down here to number 3, maybe I'm starting to see some sprouts, which is really exciting. So you put 3 or 4 seeds in each cup. You don't need to measure each little seedling, but I do need you to measure the tallest one. So maybe at this point we only have 0.5 centimeters is the tallest little seedling. Okay, and you're going to do that for each of the containers. If you still have no seedlings in one, you're going to put next. Okay, simple enough. When you get down to day 5, you're going to do a little photo check-in. So you're going to insert a photo of each cup on day 5. You're going to do the same thing for day 10, and then the same thing for day 14. If adding a photo into this little box messes up your formatting really hard, then you know what? Just put it beneath here, and then just say like cup 1 full sunlight day 5 photo, and then just put it right there. Okay, so you can get creative. Just make sure it's in the right spot. We'll talk about like the results and stuff at a different point, but you can kind of see we're going to make a graph, we're going to do some calculations, and then we're going to draw a conclusion from this. So again, this is your final exam. This is the time to really show me what you've learned this year. I don't want to see this like half-heartedly completed. Okay, that is definitely not the goal. Okay, so that's trial option 1. In door number 2, what effect does the amount of water have on your plant? So if this is the one you choose, it's the exact same process. So I'm really not going to go through the whole thing. You need to be a little bit more specific and label the cup. So maybe you want a little masking tape, label the cups so you know how much water goes on each cup. But literally it's the exact same process, except this time it's not putting it in different spots of sunlight in the house. You're going to put all of them in the exact same spot. So maybe you're going to put all of them on the windowsill. And this time you're just going to change the amount of watering. And then here is the table for your water. So again, important you get your data table that you need to get. And then option number 3 is what effect does crowding have on the height of your plant? So I learned this the hard way. I was doing some cucumber seedlings for my garden, and I put too many cucumbers close together, and it actually totally changed the health of my cucumbers. So this one, you're going to put a different amount, and we're going to see if that changes the height of the plant. Again, very similar process. This one just has to do with crowding. So make sure that you get your proper hypothesis and your proper data table onto the assigned activity 50, because that's the one that's linked to Classroom. That's where I'm going to be checking your work. So this document right here that has this cutesy little picture, that's where all your work needs to be completed. Okay, so let's talk about the overall assignment for to be done by this week. You are going to set up your experiment this week, and every day you need to be making a record of what has happened in your cup. I imagine that you checking in on your thing and just jotting some notes takes anywhere from 2 minutes, because maybe no germinations happened yet and you just got to record it, or 5 minutes. This should not be like a massive endeavor. So every day, once you start it for 2 weeks, you need to be checking that. So if you need to set a timer or set something on your phone so you remember to do that, then do it. Okay, so number 1 this week, we're going to finish the setup. Number 2 this week, you're going to answer your pre-lab questions. Now, your pre-lab questions, just like we've done for a lot of our labs, these should be in complete sentences. Oh, I changed my numbers here. I got to fix that. And so they should be in complete sentences. They should be thoughtful. They should be full responses. You don't want to add just like a one-word answer here. So we've got the stuff we've been talking about all year: independent variable, dependent variable, control, constant. You need to figure out what that is for your own experiment. I'm not going to be providing a lot of help on this, guys, because this is your final exam. This is up to you. You can look through your notes. That would be a great place to go. But I'm not providing the answers to these. Number 3, what is a carbon sink, and why are plants considered a carbon sink? What is the balanced formula for photosynthesis? Write it in words and in a balanced formulas. Describe the effect of excess carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The term greenhouse effect should be used and defined in your answer. Number 6, describe the effect of excess carbon dioxide in the ocean. The term ocean acidification must be used and defined in your answers. And then finally, number 7, this is an important one. So if you're droning out, focus. Okay. Which type of seeds did you use? Read the directions on your packet or look them up online. If they're way different than the very basic way I told you to do it in your procedure, you should do what it says on the packet, or they probably won't germinate. So for example, if on your packet it says that the seeds need to be 2 inches underground, then they need to be 2 inches into your cup. So you're going to need a bigger cup, and you're going to need to follow those directions. Just make sure you indicate that here. That's no big deal as long as it's the same for each cup. So because we're not at school and I haven't given you the seeds, I can't say one best way fits all. You have to make sure that you are responsible for whatever cups that you selected. So again, I'll write this in the checklist, but what needs to be done by the end of this week is you set up your experiment. You filled out these 7 pre-lab questions really, really, really well. This is a major part of your final exam grade. And then you've copied and pasted your hypothesis here. That needs to be there. Your data table should be on here. And by Monday, you should already have a couple days. I mean, minimum, you're going to have 5 days, 4 or 5 days filled out by Monday, depending if you set it up on Wednesday or you set it up on Thursday. Okay. So we'll talk about this in Zoom tomorrow, but this is a big one. So make sure you are fully ready to go later.